What's up, man? I don't know if I'm actually gonna post this video on YouTube or anything. I'm just recording this video for myself and my past self, right? I just wanted to like talk on the topic of relationships and how your childhood can affect your relationships as well. Because I've realized that the patterns in your relationship, right? Right, let's say it's about withdrawing or it's about this, it's about that. It's all gonna come back and haunt you in your own relationships. So that's why I wanted to speak about this video, and I've got like a nice little tea with me as well, masala chai, you know what I'm saying? So let me just drink that and then actually like help you understand or help myself understand what I'm trying to say, you know what I'm saying? Hot. So the relationships I'm going to talk about now is not just, romantic relationships, intimate relationships. It's going to be about your family life as well, because I feel like what dictates your intimate relationships, right, is the life that you spend with your family, the relationship with your parents and stuff. Because if that wasn't, up to point, or if that wasn't nice, it wasn't secure in our childhood, then that's going to show in your intimate relationships. Those are going to be of much more of anxious or avoidant sort of personalities, because I've noticed this in myself where I tend to become really anxious, right? And what I tend to become is like, when I'm with a person, I don't even trust them in a way. Like I have a lack of trust, and I bet some people can relate to this as well. But you can't really trust people. Like you want to trust them, but you just can't let yourself trust them, if you know what I mean. Another like pattern that comes up is like when someone does something bad, right, or something which I don't like, I'm gonna look at that person and I'm just gonna withdraw silently, right? I'm just gonna withdraw from that person. Let's say that person did something, that person crossed the boundary. What I'm gonna do is I'm not gonna tell them they crossed the boundary. I'm just gonna like back myself off, and I'm not gonna speak to them. Like I'm just gonna be like, man, you know what? I don't even like this person. I'm gonna just not talk to them in the first place. And I know it's toxic as hell, but you got to bear in mind that this is the type of like childhood you get. The type of childhood you have ultimately results in how you act in your intimate relationships. And if you don't solve these sort of old traumas that you have, it will haunt you back in your sort of intimate relationships in the future, or even the relationship you have with your friends and your peers and your boss and your managers and everyone else, your employees and everything, man. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't really view myself as I'm a victim of my childhood or anything, because I look back and I think, you know what, that was a wonderful childhood that I had. But ultimately, there's gonna be things are not gonna be perfect in your childhood, right? Everyone's gonna have things differently. And so for me, for my experiences, like I've got through like different experiences, right? And so what I tend to act as in relationships, when even with friends or family or different types of relationships, I tend to act in a more anxious sort of way, where, bro, it's all like, I don't know, I just have these moments where I don't really have 100% trust in a person, and I just need like reassurance every single day. And yeah, it's actually crazy. When you look at what most people are attracted to these days, it's mostly like these avoidant people, right? Where it's very toxic, man. It's just like hot and cold. The person's gonna be there for you one day, and the next day they're just gonna ghost you. And for me, that was always kind of like, what's going on, man? You know what I'm saying? Like it was always very confusing, because what type of relationship is that where you just hot and cold every single day? Like that's not me, man, honestly. And so really the main sort of topic which I wanted to speak in this video is, in order to, have a good relationship with yourself and with the people around you in the future, or even right now, what you need to take into account is everything that you went in your childhood, right? Everything that you went in. And don't be in this sort of victim mindset, oh, I went through this, I went through that. Look at it for what it is, right? And then just sort of learn from it, heal from that pain, or heal from that trauma that you went through. Because a lot of the things I've realized is I used to keep myself in this position where, yeah, I'm secure, like I don't have any bad stuff in my childhood. But the more I sort of look at the patterns that are going on right now, and I look back at what it was before, all I think is like, damn, that moment in the past really affected this moment. That moment in the past really helped me sort of dictate this moment in my life, which is very different. This moment and this moment is very different, but I'm just viewing it as the same. So in order to, really have these healthy relationships, you need to first be able to communicate with the person that you're speaking to. Like, these are the issues I have, these are the things which I need to deal with, and this is how I act, this is how I may act. And if you communicate like honestly and authentically how you are, then there's not really, a chance where you're going to attract someone in your life which they're going to be like, sort of, man, really, you're that type of person. There's going to be people like that, but what I want you to realize is the more authentic you become, the more sort of you show yourself who you are, then the people around you are going to be like the people that vibe around you. They're going to be on the same vibrational level of you. And when you bounce off, bro, I tell this in every single video, right? Your intention in the interaction sets the tone for the person to like bounce off your vibration. And that sounded like a whole bunch of words, but basically what it means is like the tone that you have, the energy that you have in a conversation, that energy will be met by the person who is speaking to you. And if you're both on the same level, imagine the vibe that will be of like the conversation. So if you don't really heal these wounds that you went through your childhood, not just your childhood, maybe your adult life, because I feel like when people talk about trauma, they only think about like when they were a child. But of course, there's going to be events and moments which happened when you were like 14, 13, teenage years. Those can really determine how you act in your adult relationships as well. So look at those and just try to heal from them, because what I've tend to like realize about myself is like I look at the ego defense mechanisms, and the most of the times I really relate to the like sublimation, I think that's what it's called, sublimation, repression, regression, all these things which you sort of unconsciously do in your current relationships, which are actually damaging it more than healing it. So really, the message of this video is like communicate your needs to your partner, you communicate your needs to your parents, and just be honest and upfront with the people that you like. There's gonna be times, bro, I'm not gonna lie, there's times where there's this one thing which really affects me in this space, where I tend to become very hyper vigilant, right? Very aware of what's going on around me, not in a conscious way, not in a mindful way, but in a way of survival, in a way of fear. And honestly, it's a state of like hurts. It's not a good place to be when you're in the space of like survival, in this mindset of just survival, which is hypervigilance, which is like a type of thing which happens in order to protect yourself, which is like evolutionary. But some people like us have it in much more of a frequent manner, like it keeps on happening instead of happening like once. What hypervigilance is like you just tend to become more aware and more anxious about the things around you. And it's just all depending on survival, because you need to realize that the brain is designed for survival, right? So all we tend to look for in our relationships with our people around us is like survival. It's about knowing that the person cares about you. And if you see like a little instance where the person doesn't make eye contact with you, the person doesn't reply to your text quick enough, that when you're in that state of hypervigilance, you see that little thing that happens, you're like, damn, so that person doesn't love me anymore, that person hates me. That's how severe it gets. And when I tell you, if you don't really communicate these thoughts with the person that you're with honestly, then they're never gonna realize that you are feeling that way, right? You're just gonna suffer in silence while that person is doing their own thing. That person doesn't know they're hurting you. It's just that you need to tell them that it is kind of making you uncomfortable. So the hypervigilant state is something which I can relate to, and I've been dealing with for the past years of my life, and I'm just slowly trying to heal from it, and I want you to do the same with me. It's not going to be perfect, right? When you're healing from your past and what you went through, don't expect it to be like perfect. You're on 10, it's going well. There's gonna be like shadow work needed to be done for this, and it's gonna be like a up down journey. It's not gonna be just you're just going up, because I've been going through this for the past months, and honestly, it's not a good feeling to have, bro. But at the same time, like, it's causing your own growth, so it doesn't really take away from anything from you. if anything, it just builds you up. It builds your character. It builds your need to be able to like speak up to people. And I've noticed it in myself where I tend to become quite negative of, man, why am I going through this? Why am I going through this? And I just take a deep breath and I just realize, you know what? Anything that I'm going through right now is to like make me tougher for the future. If I want to become something, I've needed to go through these experiences in order to become that thing, if you know what I mean. So honestly, my tea's getting cold and stuff, so but honestly, I just want to say, like, if you're going through this time of hypervigilance and being anxious about the people around you and everything like that, I just want you to make sure that everything's gonna be fine. Everything is gonna be okay, right? I know times right now they seem very, very, very tough and you can't get out of it. But trust me, this is coming from someone that has went through this. It's gonna be okay. Literally. I just wanted to realize that right now you need to deal with the childhood things that you needed to go deal with. And when you deal with this hard moments of your life right now, best believe that the next moment is gonna be of calm. It's gonna be calm after the storm, right? So just realize that, you know, yeah, cool, I need to go through this period in order to become the person I want to be. So yeah, these childhood wounds, they can be kind of difficult to deal with, but at the same time, man, you need to deal with this right now and be patient with yourself, right? Don't be like, oh, I need to deal with this so quick. Be patient with yourself. Take time. Take time to journal. Take time to write down notes. Take time to make yourself a tea and sip it with me. Take your time. Don't rush for yourself. Don't be impatient with yourself. Be patient with yourself. Love yourself. I know it's going to be difficult on the journey, but just take your time, right? And you're going to make up for everything that you did. And honestly, the more that you deal with the situations right now, the more you're going to see the growth from where you were to where you want to be. Because I'm not perfect, I'm not going to lie. So this video was just for myself and the people like in the same headspace as me, where they need some sort of, you know, reassurance that everything is going to be okay. And it's okay to you know, have these thoughts, but what we are doing right now is we're healing from them. So I hope this video has served you. If you want to book a one-on-one consultation with me, the link will be in the description. So I hope to see you there. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.